Betty.
Okay, so one night in class, Susie, in her sweet, enthusiastic, appreciative way, said to Bob, "Oh, Susan and Betty, Susan and I were sitting at a table, at the snack table, and she says, 'They're so nice.'"
Meaning you
Susie.
and Susan Hall?
Yeah, Susan Hall. Yeah. Susie. So Bob says, "Aren't they? They are nice." And then he says, "Well, actually, they're just resigned." I chuckled over that for months.
Oh, yeah.
I just figured, well, that was nice, I think.
Maybe Bob, you'll be resigned and you can join the ranks. It's like you've given up.
Well, it's amazing how friendly everyone has been and so warm and receptive to new people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So who's the next as far as how long they've been with Bob?
I've been there almost 5 years, but I'm trying to think what to say.
I have a little story.
Okay,
do share it first. We were down doing a workshop in San Jose.
At University Art?
University Art in San Jose, and I don't remember how many years ago it was. So we're doing this guy who has a semi-bald head, and I'm painting oils, which normally I don't do, and Bob comes by and he goes, "You know, Sherry?"
Classic line.
What I think?
Want to hear what I think?
Well, I think you should move this edge of the forehead back a 32nd of an inch.
Classic Bob.
I stood there and I looked at him, and in my mind I'm going an inch, half an inch, a quarter of an inch, an inch, and I don't know what a 32nd of an inch is. And so he trundles off to bother someone else, and I moved it back just slightly. I go, damn, he was right. But I knew every single student in that class was going, an inch? Mentally in their heads going, oh my God, what's a 32nd of an inch?
Okay. I have a small story, very small, because I haven't been doing this this long. You know, we know where I am in the class. But so I had this brilliant idea. I was at home and I thought, okay, the stick, the darn, the stick.
Yeah.
Well, I can't see that little tiny measure, 32nd of an inch, right? So what if I got a marking pen and I just put little lines on it?
I thought of that.
And then I could see between one line and the other, and then maybe I'd get it. So I'm telling Bob my new invention.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and goes, And he turned around and he walked back to his desk, and he came back and he handed me a ruler and he said, someone thought of it.
Who's next?
But we're proud of you anyway.
That was a good try.
Yeah, he probably laughed at that all the way home, too.
Well, I asked him at Asilomar last year, well, could I just use a ruler? And he just shook his head and walked away. He never came back. So but I thought the same thing. It's so hard to see the tip of that little stick.
Now you wonder, you always ask people if they measure. You know why they're not doing it? They can't see it.
No, okay, I'm going to say something.
Oh, good.
One of my favorite things about Bob is when we have a new student and, they're drawing and they're kind of doing their basic whatever, and Bob comes by and he gives them a suggestion, and they start with the excuses. or they don't believe him, or they go, well, I did have it that way, but then I erased it. You're like, right. So I'm just thinking to myself, it does no good to argue. It does no good to debate, because he's always right.
He's always right.
Always right.
And then I think, well, this is their first time. They'll smarten up pretty soon.
Even if it's a 30-second.
30 seconds.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I had a similar thing as your 30-second. It was at University Art, and we were painting Ray. Do you remember Roy? That really handsome black guy with the dreads.
Oh, with the dreads, yeah.
And I had a really nice portrait. I mean, it was coming along, and you come home and you say, just put some reddish orange right on the bridge of the nose. And I thought, oh, okay. And so I did, and it made a world of difference.
Oh yeah,
I will
that
never
one
forget
line.
that.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm still trying to figure out what a 30-second thumb means.
It's a very tough.
Maybe if you had said 1 millimeter, Sherry, I might have got it.
I'm not
But
good with metric.
I still look at rulers when I'm doing stuff at home. I'm like, I go, where's that 30-second thumb?
It's called a hair.
It's the width of the line that they're marking.
I think he was just jerking me
Okay,
around.
Dave, do you have anything yet?
Well, I have a little something, which I remember. I was privileged a few years ago to go to a workshop with Bob in West Palm Beach. We went to see Nelson Chinks, and we got to go to a museum. And the interesting thing about going to the museum with Bob is he's like, oh yeah, I knew that guy. He wasn't very good. But that's not my craziest story with Bob. The craziest one I remember was one time after Asilomar we came down here. We went out to dinner later when the class was done. I think it was like a Friday, or maybe it was before, I don't remember for sure. But there was a little gallery like next door. So after dinner we walked over to the gallery and checked it out. And it was like down on Cannery Row or something. And Bob looks at the painting, he's like, it's really impasto painting. He looks really close. Next thing I know, his hand's on the painting. And he turns to me, he's like, Dave, you know what this is? This isn't even a cardinal sin. This is a mortal sin. It was a print. Worse than that, they had textured it on top.
I've never seen that before.
Oh, yeah, very common.
The people in the gallery were not anywhere near around us, fortunately. I think they were calling the police. So very Bob out of there.
Did they texture it so it's three-dimensional?
Yeah, but it didn't line up with the shadows that it casted in the photograph. They
But
printed.
see, the average person would not notice.
Exactly.
Right. Sometimes it just texture with gel, like transparent gel.
It's really bad.
She couldn't know
Well,
that.
I have a story about Dave. I don't know when it was long ago when Dave came to a workshop, my workshop in San Jose.
I think I know.
And you know what he's doing? He's painting with this oil paint, this water-based oil paint. And I'm seeing him struggling, in there. And I'm talking to him. I says, and I'm seeing what he's doing, and he's trying hard and everything, and he's so nice. And I suggested, maybe he ought to switch to oils.
Yeah.
And he couldn't understand why I said that. And he says, well, have you ever tried water-based paint? If you try water-based paint, then maybe I'll try oils.
That's great.
Oh my God. I didn't even know they made that.
They're bad.
That became it.
That's some
Like,
water-based oil paste. That'll sell really
Water-based
cheap if anybody wants.
There was a little time when everyone was like, oh, these are so wonderful, but then they really aren't.
I know.